Hi students, assuming it's meant for students or anybody who sees this, maybe treat it as a student. Now I am now going to do equations of motion, not directly the proof of the equations of motion or explanation of the equations of motion. Explanation of the equations of motion I have to do, only then you can understand how you are going to apply it in your problem. But the main kind of intent of this session is to give you that skill of problem solving using equations of motion, how to identify which are the parameters given in the data, how to identify which are the parameters which are given as question mark to you by the problem giver, and how to link both of these by a suitable equation, and how to transform it to find the unknown in terms of the other data parameters, and finally how to report the answer with the proper value and the proper units for the particular quantity that is given as a question mark. This will be the intent of the today's class. Now coming to the learning objectives, what do you understand from what should be the capacity the student has got after they have attended the session? First of all, they have to identify the data variables from the problem given. Yes, and then they have to identify the parameter or the parameters to be found that they have to find out. Let them call them as question mark parameters. This is the question mark thrown to you. They are asking what is the velocity. That means velocity will be the question mark parameter. Identify the suitable equation which is applicable. This is very, very important. There are several equations that may guide you towards the answer, but only one will straightforward give you the answer, linking the data variables with the question mark variable. So you have to identify which equation is applicable for the context of the problem, and then hit the nail on the head and use only that particular equation, so that you don't have to randomly guess and then go about working and then reworking and so on, striking out the paper and wasting time. So this is the important, the choice of the suitable equation. Then solve for the parameter. How do you solve for the parameter? Anything that you have to know, you put it on the left hand side, and all other related parameters which are given in the data, you push them to the right hand side. So you have to push the parameter required to be found to the left hand side and other data parameters to the right hand side. Simply, it is not shifting places alone. You have to transform the equation suitably with mathematical operations rightly carried out. That I don't have to dwell for a 11th standard learner. Now you have to report the answer with the value and the proper unit for the quantity. This is what I expect the students to have gathered in skill at the end of this unit by the sample problems too that I am going to do. And I will be explaining how these objectives are achieved, and how they can have an easy hand on further problems to follow. Then, before we actually venture into the problem, here we have a brief note on the equations. V equal to U plus AT will be the one equation which is connecting V, U, A and T. So the final V is the final velocity. I don't have to say. It is not necessarily the final velocity of journey. In the ninth standard, they might have just vaguely presented the contents so that this will mean the final velocity achieved by the body. It is not final velocity achieved by the body. It is not even the velocity at the end of any observation that the problem giver is telling. It can be any chosen interval, which is a small part of the observation interval, which in turn is a small part of a big interval called the journey interval. So out of the big interval, universal interval called the journey interval, observation interval is a subset of that. Chosen interval is a further subset of the observation interval, which in turn is a subset of the universal journey interval. Now, for any chosen interval between two different instants, the starting instant, the body will have a certain velocity that you call it as u. At the ending instant, you call whatever velocity the body has, at the end of that chosen interval, you call it as v. This is your v, which you understood in ninth as the end of the journey. here you understand it as the end of the chosen interval in any problem. A is uniform acceleration. It is independent of t, nor is dependent on the position. Wherever the body is, the acceleration will be the same in that particular interval that the problem is talking about. And whatever time instant they are making the observation, acceleration is uniform. In fact, the equations of motion are used up or applicable only when acceleration is uniform. The next that you see here is v squared equals u squared plus 2as. V squared is the square of the final velocity, and not at the journey nor observation, but at the end of the chosen interval. U square is the square of the velocity at the starting instant of the chosen interval. 2 is a number, A is uniform acceleration, S is the displacement, that is the distance, the position, whatever is the position at the end of the interval, minus whatever is the position at the start of the interval will be the displacement during that particular chosen interval. Here 3, S is the displacement in the chosen interval, U is the initial velocity at the start of the chosen interval, T is the time or duration of the interval, and half A is uniform acceleration, T squared is square of the time interval chosen for the given interval. Then 4, S is equal to V plus U by 2 into T. V is the ending instance velocity plus starting instance velocity for the same chosen interval by 2 will give me the average of initial and final velocities for the chosen interval, that into duration of the time. That will give me S. And the fifth one is S is equal to Vt minus half At square. Vt is the final velocity times the duration of the interval minus half uniform acceleration times square of the time interval. Now you can, if you observe carefully, there are 5 variables which are all interlinked in any equation of motion. One is S, which is displacement. The other is T, which is the time interval. And V is the final velocity. A is the uniform acceleration. U is the initial velocity at the start of the chosen interval. So there are 5 interrelated parameters. Depending upon the choice of any 3 of these, the fourth and the fifth one will vary according to the equations of motion only. Now, in the first, every equation you can see interrelates only 4 variables in which one parameter is absent. First, we will identify which is the parameter absent in each of the 5 equations. The third, up till third, you might have learnt in your ninth. Fourth and fifth are studied in the 11th standard class, so that you can make use of anything which comes in handy depending upon the data variable and the question mark variable. In the first equation, V, U, A, T are talked about. S is not there. No mention about S. So, if S is neither given in the data nor given in the question mark, then you don't this is the only equation you have to adhere to. V equal to U plus AT will be the ideal equation because all others contain S, and therefore without S being given in the data, it's not possible to solve for any parameter other than S. And if S itself is a question mark, then you have to imperatively use the equation containing S. So long as no necessity comes for determining S, because it's not asked in the problem, and so long as S is not going to be of any use because it's not given in the problem, V equal to U minus AT will be your right choice for the problem solving. The next is V squared equal to U squared plus 2AS. Square of the final velocity equal to square of the initial velocity plus 2 times acceleration into displacement. Here T is absent. So if T is neither asked in the question mark or nor is given in the data, then you have to use only this equation where T is absent. All others contain T. So any parameter will appear in 4 equations and will be absent in only one equation, and that will be the correct equation if that absent parameter is neither in the data nor in the question mark. The third one, S is equal to UT plus half AT squared, and does not speak anything about V. So if V, for the 3, here there is a 3. So if V is absent, both in the data as well as in the question mark, then this will be the ideal equation. then S is equal to V plus U by 2 into T, under the assumption, supposing the problem says it travels with a uniform acceleration, but does not give the value of A acceleration. Doesn't matter. They have given information about the initial velocity and final velocity for a chosen interval. And the two ends of the interval they can give, you can yourself find the duration of the interval, or they themselves can give the duration of the interval. That is not a big difference. So you have to make use of this, where A is not explicitly given as data and where EA is not your question mark in the problem. Similarly, S is equal to Vt minus half AT squared finds U being absent. Therefore, if U is neither given in the data nor it is asked in the problem, this equation will be ideal. So there are, in the 9th standard, if I remember right, this is what students used to do. First of all, if they give V, U, A, they will first find out T, because B using B equal to U plus AT, and substitute that T in S is equal to UT plus half AT squared, where S is also another question mark. There is one disadvantage, and that is that if you go wrong in this T, you go wrong in the second one also. Unnecessarily, you will be losing mark. If question mark is only on yes, and by mistake you wanted to jump your way ahead to yes through the answer for T, the answer for T has a bearing on the answer of yes that you are getting. So if you go wrong in T, you go wrong in yes as well. So instead, if you use, if V, U, A and are given, A are given and S is my question mark, V squared equal to U squared plus 2AS will be the best equation to adopt. That's what you should know. Now, comparative study of 9th standard notations for 11 and 11th standard notations for U, V, A, T. They write it like this. Supposing the starting interval, chosen interval is between T1 and T2 within an observation interval. So T2 minus T1 will be the duration of the interval. T1 is the starting instant of the chosen interval. T2 is the ending instant of the same chosen interval. T2 minus T1 is the duration of the same interval talked about. U is the initial velocity at the starting instant. That is, velocity at T1 will be my U. Similarly, velocity at T2 will be my V. A will be uniform acceleration, it's the same as in the 9th standard. S will be the displacement. S is the displacement in that interval, which is the distance, which is the difference between displacement at the end of the distance, the x at T, position at the end of the interval T2, minus position at the starting instant of the interval, chosen interval. That difference will give me the how much it has got displaced with respect to its original position. So V at T1, that means when I write V at T1, it is velocity at T equal to T1. That is U in the, what you are using as 9th standard. Instead, you have to write whatever is V at T1 as U. Similarly, V at T2, the end of the interval, you have to write it as V. And uniform acceleration, there is absolutely no problem for that. V at T2 minus V at T1, what will it give me? It gives final velocity minus initial velocity for the interval. So change in velocity during the chosen interval between T1 and T2. Similarly, x at T1 x always refers to the position. X at T1 is the position of the body at T1. X at T2 is the position of the body at T2. So x at T2 minus x at T1 will give me change of position between T1 and T2, or in other words, displacement during the interval between T2 and T1. That's how you have to understand. So you have to superimpose. It is something like old wine in new bottle. Here, it is the bottle, the letters bearing the meaning of U, V are only different, but entirely the equations of motion does not have a different equation or does not change its validity or anything like that. It is the same thing. It is still more reinforced to show that it can be microscopically shifted to any part of the interval within a big observation. Further, since acceleration A, as per definition, is the rate of change of velocity, which is nothing but change in velocity by time taken. Change in velocity is velocity at final instant minus velocity at beginning instant. So it will be V at T2 minus V at T1 by T2 minus T1. That will be my A. So the following table gives the comparative study of this. I think we will just skip this for the time being, because I'm going to do another session on, you can just forget about this. You can just forget about this for the time being, because I want to go ahead with this alone, not confuse you. There is a separate chapter I'm planning to take, where I'm going to write what you mean by expression of a physical quantity as a function of any other related quantity. So F is related, F is equal to ma. That means F is a function of mass, F is a function of A is the result of F and M. So A is a function of force, and A is also a function of the mass of the given body. So that way of deriving, understanding A as a function of F for a given M, and A as a function of M for a given F will be our next study in the next session. Please wait for that. We will come to that later, right? Now coming to the next part, let me just score all these out. I will take all this in the next session. Don't worry. And don't worry, don't get confused now. I don't want to unnerve you all of a sudden in the beginning of the 11th standard class. So just now I thought about it. So it's not necessary you have to know about that. So don't bother about this. So let us skip on to the next page. Okay. Next part of it, which is actually dealing with the problems. This I will come to in the next session. Rest assured. Now coming to the third part, namely the problem. Now read the problem, and after that I will quit from the video and show you only the working. An object is moving along the positive x-axis with a uniform acceleration of 4 meters per second square. So they have given you what is A. At t equal to 0, perhaps the start of the chosen interval that he is talking about, at t equal to 0, position is 5 meters from some origin that he has chosen, and velocity at that time t equal to 0 is 3 meters per second. This is a common thing for all the subdivisions to follow in the problem. So the top one, A equal to this much, and just I will write here, but I am writing it in the next page in solution. A equal to 4 meters per second squared is given here for all the subdivisions to follow. X I will write x at 0 equal to, for position at 0 is 5 meters away from the origin, x at 0, and then the x at 2 is my question mark, right? They were asking what will be the position of the object at 2 seconds, what will be the velocity of the object at 2 seconds. They have only given u. U is v at 0. V at 0, this is going to be my u because it is the starting instant of the chosen interval. And in the subdivision A, they have given duration of the interval is equal to 2 seconds later than 0. So it is 2 seconds. So the t2 is equal to 2 seconds. So they want what will be the velocity at t2, question mark, and what will be the x at t2, question mark, where t2 is 2. Or in other words, v at 2 is going to be my question mark, and x at 2 is going to be my question mark. It is for you to solve these two and find out. And then next question is somewhat catchy. What will be the position of the object? They are not telling what time is the position of the object, is the velocity of the object 5 meters per second. So they are not interested, they have not given the t, but they have given only what is velocity at at some t, some random t which we don't know. It is not 2 seconds. That is equal to 5 meters per second. At that instant, whenever the velocity is 5, what will be the x at t? What will be the position of the body at x at t? This will be my question. Agreed? So with this introduction, I will go to the solution of the problem. I think I have made myself clear. A they have given. Initially at x equal to 0, position is 5. So x at 0 equal to 5 meters. That will be equal to, this is not u, 5 meters. X at 2 is equal to the question mark, I don't know. And v at 2 is equal to question mark. V at 0 they have given. V at t is 5 meters. V at 0 is 5 meters per second. That's what, no. They have given v at 0 equal to 3 meters per second. So they have given here v at 0, this is v at t equal to 5. They have all, additional data that they have given is V at 0 equal to 3 meter per second. I will rewrite that in the solution part. So 3 meter per second is the V at 0, and therefore you have to find out what is V at 2. So I'll write this again, this part alone, because I missed out on the data. So V at 0 equal to 3 meter per second. Where did you have it? It was here on the top of the two subdivisions, 3 meter per second. V at 0. Then V at 2 is my question mark. So based on whatever is V at 2, based on whatever is A, you can find out what is V at 2. So for the interval between 0 and t, initial instant is 0, final instant is 2 seconds. Initial velocity is 3 meter per second, final velocity you have to find out. For that you need an acceleration. Yes, they have given the acceleration, b equal to u plus at. Duration of the interval is t minus 0, t2 minus 0, which is 2 seconds. That is how you have to do. Now coming to the solution part. Look at this. Look, I have recopied the problem. Now I will just quit out of the video and work out the solution. Listen here carefully. Now I will rewrite the whole data here again. Whatever is common is the velocity. They have told you at t equal to 0. That t should come inside the bracket because all are represented as functions of t. That means x at 0 equal to 5 meters, v at 0 equal to 3 meter per second. Then A is uniform. They have not bracketed a T for A because no T inside the bracket, because no 0 or 1 or 2 or anything is written, because equal to 4 meter per second, no T in the bracket. Because, why can you guess? Because A is a constant and not depend and does not vary from time to time and not dependent on the time of my choice, on the instant of observation. Therefore, you don't have a bracketed t for A. So meter per second squared. That will be the acceleration. Now what they want is, what is V at 2? That the 2 itself tells me the end of the interval they are thinking in mind is 2 seconds, equal to question mark. The 2 inside the bracket implies the end of the chosen interval is 2 seconds. T2 equal to 2 seconds. T1 already they have told you is 0. T2 is 2 seconds. So in the interval of time T will be T2 minus T1. Duration of the interval will be T2 minus 0, which is equal to 2 seconds. That's what you should know. Now coming to the, this is my question mark. Now this, in terms of your 9th standard class, which you are already familiar, V at 0 equal to U equal to 3 meter per second. I took it from the data here, meter per second. A equal to 4 meter per second square. And V at 2 seconds is going to be my final velocity, which is my question mark. And V equal to U plus AT. So that will be equal to 3 for U, plus A, 4 is for A, and T is 2 seconds. That will be 3 plus, using the broad mass rule. Though we have to be very careful in maths part also. So 3 plus 4 into 2 is 8. And that will be 11 meter per second, because it is velocity that you are working at. Don't write some other nonsense unit. For 11 meter per second. That will be the answer. V at 2. You have to report V at 2 equal to 11 meter per second. Then the second part of the same A, second part is, what is X at 2? You want. X at 2 is my question mark. X at 0 was 5 meters, right? So displacement S will be X at 2 minus X at 0. That will be X at 2 minus X at 0 is 5. So X at 2, that will be S. So first of all, you have to find out S using some equation. Here V at 0 equal to U equal to 3 meter per second. duration A equal to 4 meter per second squared, and duration of the interval T is equal to 2 minus 0, which is 2 seconds. And therefore, S will be my question mark. This would have been your question mark in ninth, and so it is now also. From that, you have to make another modification to find out exact position at 2. So S is equal to ut plus half at squared, because this is not containing any information about V. The V that you found out is only what you found out. In case you have gone wrong here, the same answer will be carried out in the next. So you can just ignore that. Just use only the data variables. U is given, A is given, T is given. What more do you need? So S can be found out. So S is equal to 3 meter per second is U, into 2 seconds is the duration, plus half into 4 into 2 square will be the square of the time interval. So that will be 6, plus this 2 will go in 4 2 times. So 2 into 2 square will be 8. 2 square will be 8. So that will be 2, 6 plus 8. That will be 14 meters. Displacement, extra displacement is 14 meters. So from here that implies that x at 2 minus x at 0 is only 14. X at 2 minus x at 0 they have already given is 5. That is equal to 14. Therefore, x at 2 will be equal to 14 plus 5, because when it goes to the other side, mathematical transformations remain the same as in maths. So that will be 19 meters. That is the answer, right? That is the answer for the, I think I have written the answer in the previous one. I'll just verify on that. I forgot to carry the answer, but that is the answer, right? Okay. Now next will be, okay. This is, so you have found out the position at 2 they want. So the position x at 2 equal to 19, because it is position, meter will be the unit. This is how you have to report the second part of the subdivision A. Coming to the B, V at some random t, you don't know this t, that is equal to 5 meter per second. So the interval talked about here, the interval talked about in this problem, in this subdivision B, in B is between some t equal to some t not known and hidden from the data, and t equal to 0. So the t, the interval of time will be equal to t minus 0. That will be simply t itself. You don't know the t, let it come algebraically through your journey. That's the thing. So now I have to make, so V at t equal to 5 at the end of the journey, end of the interval between t and 0. V at t they have given you is 5 meter per second, and t they have not given, right? They have not given t, and yes, they have given it to be. You have to find out what is yes, right? Right. What is yes? So now what you have to do is, you have to find out yes. So for this, what will I make use of? Final velocity is given. So S is equal to Vt minus half at squared will be the most appropriate equation, because they have given you the final velocity. They have not given, sorry, I'm sorry. They have not given. So you have to make use of V squared equal to U squared plus 2AS, because they, you know, they have given, U they have given it to be 3 meter per second, A they have given it to be 4 meter per second squared, S is the only unknown. So V squared minus U squared by 2A will be my S. So final velocity square, they have themselves told it is 5. So 5 square minus initial velocity is 3. They have given the original data on top of the problem. 3 squared by 2 into A is given to be 4 in the problem itself. That will be my S. So that will be, there should be no t in the equation because t is not given. So the ideal equation will be V squared equal to U squared plus 2A, is where you know the final velocity and the initial velocity and the acceleration. So that will be 25 minus 9 by 8. That will be equal to yes. So 16 by 8 is equal to yes, 2. that will be equal to S. So S displacement is equal to modulus of displacement is equal to 2 meters away, right? Further over and above. So x at t, any t, we don't know what t, minus x at 0 equal to is equal to 2 meters. X at t minus x at 0, they have told you, is 5 meters. That will be equal to 2 meters. So x at t equal to 2 meters plus 5 meters. So minus 5 will go there, and that will become plus 5 meters. That will be 7 meters. So x at any which instant, you don't have to bother. The problem giver has not told you what time it took to find or come to velocity of 5 meters per second. So it is not your headache. So we always leave the ball in the court of the problem giver, so that anything goes wrong, he will be at fault. But don't find out some intermediate answer and try to mess up and then use it and elsewhere and go wrong, put taking the blame on yourself, even if the problem is wrong by the given problem giver. So x at t is whatever be the time, the final what is the position when the velocity is 5. So when the velocity is 5 after t seconds, which I don't know and he has not given, and nor do I bother about that, but the position when the velocity is 5 will be 7 meters from the origin. This is all the answer for the for first problem. I think I have made myself clear. You go through it. If you don't understand, then you can report so, and then we will see if it has to be done again. Next will be problem 2. Problem 2 is talking about a bullet. Bullet is the body which is traveling. It goes and hits a tree trunk with a velocity of 16 meters per second. What will happen when it hits at this thing? There will be a reaction force from the tree trunk. As a result, there will be a retarding force and a retardation. So its velocity will go on decreasing. So by the time it penetrates through the body of the trunk is so big, and the resistive force is so high. So from 16 meters per second, it comes down to rest. That means velocity at the final end of the interval is 0 meter per second. So at start, it is 16 meter per second. V at t equal to say 0 meter per second. What is the time is what they want, and the distance they have given. They have given what is the extent of penetration. What is the distance it penetrates the tree trunk through, they have given. So V equal to U plus AT is not my question, because they have not asked for the retardation. They have not asked for the retardation. They have only asked for how long will it take to come to rest. That's the thing. So according to this particular data of the problem, I will just write an idea here. V at 0 equal to 16 meter per second. V at t, whichever t it is coming to rest, let it come, let it be taken as t only. That will be equal to 0, because the bullet comes to rest. That is the indication. Comes to rest is the indication to show that the final velocity is 0. And then the S, what is the piercing distance through which it travels before it finally is brought to rest, will be 0.4 meters. Right? Now, what is the T is my question mark. A is not data and A is not question mark either. So don't bother to find out A first using B equal to U plus AT. For don't try to find out A and substitute that A in S is equal to UT plus half AT squared. This is one important thing I wanted to lay emphasis on in this particular session. Only straightforward answer the question. So V you know, U you know, yes you know, T is my question mark. So what is the formula connecting V, U, S and T? Not A, without an A. A is absent in S is equal to V plus U by 2 into T. This is the where acceleration is absent. Don't make use of this. Well, if you don't want to make use of acceleration, this will be the ideal equation. So that S will be equal to 0.4 meter, equal to final velocity is 0, initial velocity is 16. The whole thing by 2 will be the average velocity for the journey time into the time. This is that they were asking what is this time. This is my question mark. So 0.4 equal to 8. 0 over 16 is 16. 16 by 2 is 8. 80. So T will be equal to 0.4 divided by 8. that will be equal to 4 divided by 80. You have to multiply numerator and denominator by 10. So 4 by 80. So that will be equal to 4 by 8 into 10 power minus 1. In the 10 will come in the denominator, and you can push it later to the numerator by changing the suffix of 1 to minus 1. So it will be 4 by 8 into 10 power minus 1. So already 4 by 8 will be 0.5. That into 10 power minus 1 will be 0.05 seconds, because the time is what is required. Acceleration, you don't have to bother. If time permits, you can calculate the acceleration using this t. So a equal to no, first you have to find out at. V equal to u plus at you can do, and find out what is the acceleration, right? Because they have not given you that. Therefore, we have v is equal to 0 equal to 16 plus a into 0.05. Therefore, oh, you can find out a you don't know. Therefore, you have 16 plus 0.05 a equal to 0, which means 16 should be equal to minus 0.05 a, and a should be 116 by 0.05. It will be a big number, 1600 by 5, and that will be equal to a 5 3s are 320 meter per second squared will be the acceleration. For your own information, you can find that out and substitute this in the formula and find out if t is matching with this, not 5. That's what. But the best thing will be to avoid using the equation containing t because a is neither given in the data nor in the question mark, nor in the question mark of the problem. So it's better you can avoid. You can find out a for your own satisfaction. In case there is another problem, there is a second subdivision asking for a, then you can make use of a. Don't you make use of t, because if you make use of t, you will get if you make use of t, you will get a wrong answer if t is wrong. If t is wrong, a will also go wrong. So you have to check in terms of another one. If a is also a question mark, right? Now you can do like this. Now you can do s is equal to ut plus half at square and find out that we're using that particular type, and verify any other data if it's matching with the question mark in the for the subsequent checking method. So checking should be by another equation, not by the same method, because psychologically, if you have gone wrong in the table, say 7 9s are, if instead of 63 you feel it is 62, anytime the same student revises, he will be 7 9 9s are 62 only. So there is no way by which he can get out of this confusion and got by practice of wrong table memorization. So you will always land up into a mess. So you have to be careful about that. I think I have, now I will just sum up the whole thing, right? So if you sum it up the whole thing, I'll go to the, now I'll come back to the learning objectives. See, you are for the two problems that I showed, I think we have identified which are given in the data. And we have also understood which parameters are my question mark, because I told that v at 2 is question mark, x at 2 is question mark, then v at 5 is equal to 5 meter per second, then what would have been x at t? That is my question mark. So I wrote what are the question marks and whatever is given in the data. Now I choose the correct answer. I have already explained in the two problems as sample, and therefore you can do this. One more thing I want to tell you in this brief note on equations, the equations of motion here. One second. Here, there are the 5 equations of motion. Each equation interrelates 4 variables. That means any one of the 4 can be a question mark. So you can imaginarily generate 4 problems out of each equation. We keeping v as unknown. Then you can have u as unknown given b, a and t. Like that, each equation will give rise to 4 problems which can be generated. You practice yourself generating problems yourself, some 4 problems from 1, 4 more from 2, and so on. Altogether in the 5 equations, 20 problems can always be imagined and incorporated and designed by the pupil. and given himself a rigorous practice of, so that he has an easy hand with the equations of motion. I think I have made myself clear, and you have to use only that equation which is devoid of any one parameter, which is neither a question mark nor given in the data. Other than that, the things are okay. So the solving and other things, I assume you will do it. You will be doing it brilliantly well. So it can be easy. And how to check it also, to some extent, this will throw light on whether you can check whether your answer is possible or not possible. If a body is accelerating, the final velocity should be greater than the initial velocity. If a body is decelerating, the final velocity should be lesser than the initial velocity. So by some mathematical error, if you get the final velocity less than the initial in an accelerated condition, then you have to check where I have gone wrong. Don't write the answer and then give examiner for a chance to cut marks. That's what I'm telling you. Be careful. I think I have made myself clear on this. And like that, a few more sessions on problems. After we have introduced what is called as the function of a parameter in as function of any other parameter that you are going to learn both in the 11th and 12th. There are umpteen number of parameters interrelated by some function or the other. All those will be our next session's study. I think I have made myself clear. Thank you very much for patiently listening to this. Thank you.